there's one thing I really don't like. It's men who utilize being completely or in part African American as a shield to consistently abuse and harm other women who are African American or in part African American. And that's what we are going to talk about today when it comes to a male performer, a male porn star known as Xander Corvus. Xander Corvis, who has been listed with OC Modeling for quite some time now, at least over a year, up until at least this month, was listed as Caucasian. However, strangely, over the past month or so, maybe longer, he has adamantly made it clear on his social media that he is multiracial, and he claims that his father is African American. Though it appears that his father may only be in part African American, because he sure as hell doesn't look anything like Wesley Snipes or Denzel Washington. Now, Xander Corvis, aka Michael Burns, appears to be Caucasian. But when you're multiracial, you can look any kind of way. Look at Mariah Carey. A lot of people would mistake Halle Berry for Latina if she wasn't famous. So there's a lot of people who are in part African American who at first glance don't look like it. But just because genetically you may be in part African American, it does not mean that you are living your life as an African American, especially if no one's known for the majority of your life that you are African American, especially if you have purposely concealed your ethnicity in order to have an advantage, perhaps, in life. And if you've just never been viewed as African American, how would you really know what it is to be African American? Now, on Martin Luther King Day, Xander Corvis, aka Michael Burns, decided to post a tweet asking if there was anybody in the Las Vegas area who was available for a cream pie pornography shoot. Now, a cream pie pornography shoot is a shoot in which the feature attraction has to do with a male ejaculating within the female. Okay? That's what a cream pie is. It's seen as one of the more gross types of adult content scenes. It's seen as one of the more demeaning types of scenes, really. But here's what Xander decided to do on Martin Luther King Day. He posted that tweet, and then immediately after, he posted a photograph of Martin Luther King. It's kind of like he was saying, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. And if you say anything to me about it, I'm going to cry racism because I'm black now. And I want to speak for the black people. And Martin Luther King is my hero. Yeah. So I want to explain to you a little bit about Xander Corvis, aka Michael Burns, and his history. His history revolving around three female porn stars who are all multiracial as well. Porn stars known as Cameron Bay, August Ames, and Mercedes Carrera. Cameron Bay, in 2013, was diagnosed with HIV. August Ames, not too long ago, was reported dead. Questionable circumstances surrounding her death. And Mercedes Carrera, as of current, is in prison and has been charged with, or there are allegations revolving around her in regards to child abuse. All three of the women who I have mentioned, when it comes to who they worked with within the adult entertainment industry, Who was among their final scenes? I'm sure you already know who I'm going to say. Xander Corvis, aka Michael Burns. When it comes to Cameron Bay, when she was performing in a scene, and this all happened on a kink.com set, she participated in a multi-person scene. Xander Corvis was among the people that she performed with that day. And allegedly, he had a cut on his male genitalia and he bled in her mouth. That is what was reported by Robert Zachary, aka Rob Black, who has since been silenced. When it comes to August Ames, Xander Corvis was among one of her final scenes. From what I can see, he worked with her on a Brazzers set. Right before, she allegedly was bullied to the point of which she allegedly took her own life via suicide. She made a tweet in regards to taking issue with male performers who may elect to perform with high-risk individuals who have a higher risk of being exposed to HIV than others. Since her death, there have been rumors that the individual that she was referring to in those tweets was Xander Corvis. Mercedes Carrera. She primarily, before she was arrested, performed with her husband. However, there was a scene released of her working with Xander Corvis. I believe it was for Brazzers. And that was one of her final scenes released before she was arrested. So what's the moral of this story here, aside from definitely not expecting Xander Corvis or mainstream entertainers such as Todd Bridges to be sensitive to African American issues, such as having at least a shred of respect for them on Martin Luther King Day. The lesson here is that there are things happening within the world of adult entertainment that are routinely covered up. And when you are a woman of color, be you completely African American or a mixture of other ethnicities, there are certain men who have essentially sold their soul who can get away with doing all kinds of atrocious things to you because they are protected by the element of white privilege, even though they might not be white themselves. And why are they protected? Because they're willing to play the game of white privilege and abuse, harm, or destroy women of color, which is, from my perspective at least, in part what white privilege is all about. Either the destruction of people of color or the domination of people of color. I'm not okay with either. Ideally, I believe in equality, but I've just reached the conclusion that my spirit most likely is from another planet. I'm not really sure why I'm here on Earth. But take care, everyone. Have a great day.